Hello and welcome back to the Lost Library and the continuing story of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. We're in chapter 3 and we're searching for the truth. And we have a decision to make. It's a very important decision on whether or not we reject the doubt and strengthen our belief, or we support Patriarch Luke for his criticism of the lots. And further, we will further dedicate a research paper to the subject. Or we seek comfort in prayer, and we seek solace and unity with the will, the law, and the love of the twins. I think this is a very important decision. It's going to steer us in one direction or the other. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and think about this just a little bit more before we make such an important decision. So we're going to seek comfort in prayer. Seek solace and unity. The feud between Patriarch Luke and the seminary teachers makes you think. Why do these old men have to argue over the interpretation of words written by a mortal man? For mortal men. Most important thing here is the will of the gods, but it is being obscured behind a battle over dogma. Once your lessons are done for the day, you head for the temple. Inside, you raise your head to look at the statues of the twins. The elder with the lash, the younger with the sword. They look at you, almost as if they are curious to see what you will do. You clasp your hands and whisper a prayer. It is part prayer, part question. What is their will? What did the twins truly intend to tell the people? How are we supposed to live? Your whispered words scatter among the tall pillars and stretch across the temple like a web waiting to catch an answer. Even the flicking candlelight seems to dance to the rhythm of your prayer. And then you sense an unfamiliar feeling of comforting warmth. It is pulsing on your chest, from the place where a priest's encircled cross would be. You do not notice when your prayer changes. It is no longer a question. It is now an expression of joy, a hymn to the twins, to their will and law and love, and to the lots and the wisdom they have brought into this world. The prayer ends, but the warmth in your chest remains. With that warmth comes understanding. Everything you are doing here is for a reason, and it is right. The twins are with you. They are guiding you. And when you speak in a temple one day, you will speak the will of the twins, and you will bring forth their gift to all existence. Doubt plagues you no longer. All right. Okay, so our willpower has risen again. Let's go. $11.36. We're now 18 years old. It's the winter. The trial of the 50. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict. Forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman. Her name was Annie Sirin. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she's about to leave this world forever. Annie Sirin takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She's dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the seven dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Okay. Order +1, power -1. Okay, yeah. The province, the Magra, power in Magra has dropped by 1 because of that. His executions, okay. Interesting. The Black Book. Your studies at the seminary continue. You assist with the preparations for church holidays and study the accounts of the twins, lives, and the sacred scriptures. The seminary sends some of its students on a pilgrimage to the holy sites of the empire to follow in the footsteps of one of the twins. A large group of these pilgrims returns to the seminary several weeks after your studies begin. Among the students in this group is a young woman who looks familiar. She holds her head high as her brown eyes, filled with wisdom and strength, study you attentively. She approaches you first. It is Jian. She met in the past by the silver tree in Anazat. Jian was but an acolyte at the temple by the tree at that time, but now she is in Eterna like you, almost ready to complete her studies. Jian, I remember you. I'm glad you're here. So you found your way to the priestly lot after all. It's nice to see a familiar face from your former life. You start spending more time with Jian, praying and reading the sacred scriptures together. Most of the time, you discuss theology. But the more you learn about each other, the more you start discussing your lives before the seminary. You tell her how Mother prepared you to serve the twins ever since you were a child, from daily prayers to following your lot in everything. Jian, as for me, I don't know who my parents are. I grew in the orphanage by the temple. Studying at the seminary has been my goal since as long as I can remember. The priests were kind to me, and now it is my sacred duty to serve the twins. With the first term exams now behind you, you are allowed to visit the antiquarium, a special storage chamber for sacred relics and artifacts that harken back to the history of the faith. You invite Jian to go there with you. The inside of the antiquarium is quiet. The items you see beyond the glass panes and on the shelves are nothing short of amazing. One thick, ragged tome is an original work inked by Isatias. You see old images of the twins' likenesses, faded with time. You behold the lash used in the very first sacraments for the low-born lot. The relics made of silver, the twins' blessed metal, are kept in a separate chamber. You take some time poring over these hand-crafted sacred symbols. The shelves on the opposite wall are covered with silver collars, large and small. Jeanne. They're so elegant. The things we make are much simpler nowadays. Always cast from silver, not forged by hand. Look, those old collars even had names stamped into the silver. Another wall is covered with thin silver slabs, prayers to the twins etched into the metal. After taking the priest's sacrament, any priest may use such a silver slab to call the gods' power down upon their foes and work wonders, even outside the temple grounds. Do you think these might be copies? Silver slabs disappear when they're used, don't they? Just imagine the temptation, working wonders anywhere, just like that. There's one more chamber at the farthest end of the antiquarium, with only one relic within, the only room here that is guarded. Your voices trail off when Jeanne and you feel the eyes of the chamber guard upon you. He bears a scroll with a silver seal on his cassock, an inquisitor. What the inquisitor is guarding is a black book, its pages blackened, seemingly by fire. The book lies inside a spacious cage forged of time-faded silver. You are not allowed to approach it, the inquisitor says. What is it? You ask. The inquisitor sighs and glances at the silver cage with worry and scorn. This is the most dangerous and vile of all the relic in the land, he says. It is a monument to the Dark Ages, when Arcanians used to fight one another for power. A time when one of the great Arcanian dynasties defied the twins' chosen tempests. The Arcanian who owned this book was Char Malanitis. Driven by helpless rage, he scorched the land of Magra and ravaged the imperial army with a terrible curse. But the twins' power stripped him of his dark sorcery, and the Holy Order brought him down. The book within this cage contains his sinister spells. What the Inquisitor says seems unbelievable. The books you have read say that all of Malanitis' relics were destroyed. He explains, however. Apparently the book was utterly impossible to immolate. Even with the god's divine aid, the countless raging pyres it was subjected to could only blacken the pages with ash, but not destroy them. The dark magic remains within the book, preserving its blasphemous sorcery. But the book alone was not enough. The rebellious Duke turned his very land into a weapon by destroying it. The Holy Order, the swords of the twins, surrounded Malanitis' forces along with the Imperial army. Their victories were numerous, for true faith guided them towards the city of Anazat. With no other way to prolong the war and nourish his magical powers, the rebellious Duke squeezed all life from the land of Magra and transformed it into dark sorcery. And so the province of Magra, ruled by Char Malanitis, became an infertile desert during that war. The people of Malanitis began dying from sickness and famine, and many fled to the neighboring lands. Yet this evil act did little to stop the twins, true believers. By the prayer of the priests, the gods took away the dark magic of Char Malanitis and dispelled the accursed sorcery he had wrought. The Holy Order dealt swiftly with the remnants of Malanitis' army, while the Inquisition captured all the mages and witches hiding in Anazat. Char Malanitis himself was executed as an oathbreaker possessed by heresy who had destroyed the fertile lands of Magra and starved thousands of his subjects to death. Be wary of magic, for magic is an ungodly power that distorts and plagues all it touches and so must be eradicated, the Inquisitor concludes. These words seem to affect Jeanne deeply. She turns pale and walks out of the room containing the encaged book. You thank the priest for his story and follow her. You find the poor girl sitting on a bench in the park by the temple, her face hidden in her arms. You lightly tap her on the shoulder and ask what is troubling her. Jeanne. When I came to Eterna, I wasn't alone, you know. I had a friend, almost a sister. Her name is Eilis. I had one goal here, to serve the twins, but she wanted to be an actress. I argued against it, told her that acting was in defiance of her lot. But Eilis wouldn't listen. She's performing in taverns now, and in markets on holidays. I went to one of her performances once, just the other day, in fact. And I saw her eyes glowing yellow. Every time her eyes flashed, the people would applaud her. She's not just defying the lot, she's using magic. Eilis is practicing the dark arts, confounding people's minds with sorcery. I was far enough away, her spell didn't reach me. I want to, but I can't tell the Inquisition about her. Eilis is my only real friend in the world. And she's a witch. I don't know what to do. Jeanne's shoulders tremble with anxiety. Her brown eyes are red with tears as she looks at you, hoping for guidance that she will save her from error, or that will save her from error. What do you tell Jeanne? Tell no one about Eilis. The twins are law, and yet the twins are love as well. It would be best to give Jeanne's friend a chance to reconcile with the twins on her own. Inform the Inquisition. Those who wield magic are dangerous. They must be kept away from people. Guide your friend to the right path. You convince Jeanne to give counsel to her friend and guide her to the right path. Jeanne is not a priestess yet, but this is her sacred duty nevertheless. Those who wield magic are dangerous. They must be kept away from the people. Tell no one about Eilis. Guide your friend to the right path. Well, I don't know if she will be able to guide her friend to the right path, but we're going to try. We're going to try and do that. Let's see if we can convince Jeanne to do this. You put your hand in Jeanne's, just as you did on that day in Anazot under the silver tree. She is a little startled. She looks at your hand, and then into your eyes. She cannot take away her friend's magic, you say, and if she tells the Inquisition, she will lose someone she loves. Perhaps it would be best to speak with her friend and guide her to the true path like a priestess would, and hope that the girl can see the error of her ways and make the right decision. Jeanne is not wearing the cassock yet, but for the sake of her friend's life and soul, she must act like a priestess. Jeanne wipes away her tears as she looks at you, first with distrust, then with a hint of a smile. Jeanne, but don't you think I'd be defying my lot by doing this? You shake your head. The two of you no longer have to work or suffer like commoners, you say. You already live under the lot of the clergy here at the seminary. Guiding souls to the true path is already your duty. She withdraws her hand from yours carefully, then wipes away the tears and fixes her hair. You're right. I'm sorry for being so weak. I shall act as befits a true priestess. You sit on the bench under the tree with her for quite some time, discussing how the will of the twins is changing the world. Through the silver tree of Anazot, magic will soon be gone from this world. And when the mages are no more, The twin sacred wonders of order and purity are all that will remain. Jeanne is smiling now. Her tears have dried. This discussion brings you peace, just like the one beneath the silver tree. Jeanne does not mention her friend again. Several days later, you ask her about Alice. Jeanne: I managed to guide her back to her lot. She's back in Anazat now. She's going to work and suffer as her lot demands. I'm happy for her, but it's a shame our friendship seems to have come to an end. As you think about this, you realize something. You also guided Jeanne herself towards her lot on the bench that fateful day. Is she aware of this? Jeanne, wavering. Jeanne remains strong and steadfast on the outside, but her belief in the dogma of the old faith is growing weak. Okay. Manipulation. Canny. Okay, you need that. You definitely need that. Okay. Alice's rescue event has happened. Conditions: Alice's death is prevented. Good. You save the enigmatic singer known as the Golden Voice from an untimely death. Good. Year 1136. It's the summer, the feast of the air. The capital is preparing for a great celebration, the coming age of Gerian Tempest, heir to the throne. Ribbons and flags flutter in the wind. The streets are scrubbed clean, and the scent of flowers fills the air. You, too, set some time aside to join the celebration. It is not often that you can see the ruling family of the empire firsthand. The celebration day comes, and Eterna is abuzz. A festive procession starts on the streets. Students from the college and cadets from the military academy march in front, lined up in columns, and other citizens follow suit. You join the parade around the tail of the procession. Before long, it reaches the square in front of the emperor's palace. The ruling dynasty of Tempest observes the parade from the palace balcony. They are joined by the empire's highest dignitaries and province overseers. For the first time in your life, you see Emperor Uther II with your own eyes, there, high up above. The columns of college students and academy cadets come to a halt at the balcony and salute the emperor with their mottos. The emperor raises his hand in a gesture of benevolent greeting. Then his voice echoes across the square. You can hear him easily, even from so far away. Uther Tempest II. I accept your gratitude, my loyal subjects. Take pride as you wield your knowledge and valor in service to the empire. All who are worthy will be ennobled by the mantle, by my grace. The nobles-to-be cheer the emperor's words, but then Archduke Monrogue steps onto the balcony, and their jubilation gives way to murmurs of discontent. Everyone here remembers all too well how the ruler of Monia tried to shut down the college by force. Still, the Archduke is the de facto leader of the Archnean gentry. He is a force to be reckoned with, even for the emperor. Aegeus Monrogue. Hail, your emperor, common folk! Be forever obedient and grateful for the good graces you do not deserve by birth. But then everyone grows silent. A young, slender Archnean with a shy smile comes forth. There are whispers in the crowd. That's Prince Gerian, heir to the throne, student of Cornelius, promise and the hope of the common estate. To the left of Geryon is his younger brother Flavius. He is baffled at the sight of the parade below, too young to process what he is seeing. Geryon. May the twins be kind to you, my future subjects. I promise to repay you in kind and help you prosper in your loyal service to the Empire. Exalted by these words, the nobles-to-be roar as one. All hail Prince Geryon! Another figure steps into view next to the heir. He is an Arcanian, elegantly dressed, and his mantle bears the Tempest colors. He raises his arms, about to make a speech. Gaius Tempest. Long live Prince Geryon, students of the college, cadets of the academy. Time and again you have proven yourselves to the Empire by word and deed. Today is a day of great celebration, and in honor of Prince Geryon, you must ask the Emperor to guarantee forever the right of distinguished common folk to be ennobled by the mantle. So ask now. The cadets and students freeze in hesitation. They exchange glances, unsure whether to follow the words of the Emperor's own brother. On the balcony high above, Prince Geryon also remains still, listening to every reaction from the crowd. Archduke Monrogue briskly steps into view once more. He takes several seconds to observe the crowd before he speaks. Monrogue. Imperial subjects, what the Emperor's brother wishes to say is that you must always remember that you owe your status to the Tempest dynasty. The Emperor accepts your gratitude and sends you off with his blessing. You may leave now. Commotion and murmurs spreads over the crowd as some of the nobles-to-be refuse to follow Archduke Monrogue's order. There are shouts heard here and there. The law! We ask for the law! The academy officers and teachers of the college urge them to fall in line and resume the parade. But tension is rising. The crowd slowly grows enraged and unruly. An Imperial Guard cavalry regiment emerges from the palace. They start slowly advancing on the crowd, hands on their swords, pushing people out of the square. The commoners are now running left and right. You, too, have to move away. This quickly quells the commotion in the square, and the cavalry withdraws. Emperor Uther II appears on the balcony again. Archduke Monrogue stands by his side. The square falls silent at the sight of the sovereign. Uther Tempest. My subjects, I can see how overjoyed you are for Prince Geryon, but your show of reverence and gratitude was clear enough. Now obey my will, continue the parade, and sing the praises of the Tempest dynasty that has given you so much. The square obediently lines up in columns once again. The bout of defiance is in the past now, and they resume the festive parade through the city streets. Glory to the Emperor Uther! Glory to Prince Geryon! Power's going down in the province of Megra. It's 11:36, the summer, letters from home. Oh, this should be interesting. See how my younger brother's doing. There are days when you receive letters from home. Father's writing is very reserved. He mostly discusses events and work in Megra and writes very little about the family. It makes me proud that I have managed to teach Stefan how to handle our affairs at home. Your older brother behaves impeccably at the society balls and receptions that we host. He has already made several crucial acquaintances. But Gloria has a different opinion of Stefan. She thinks your older brother is taking more and more after grandfather. Gloria. Stefan is a lot like grandfather. It's in his manners, his posture, his voice. He even dresses just like him. He used to be aloof around me, and we barely talked in the past. But now he always blames me and tears me apart. I can't take it anymore. He walks all over me all the time and treats me like a housemaid. Mother writes to you. From her letters, you learn that Nathan just barely managed to graduate from school. Lydia. It makes me sad to admit that Nathan has none of the talents you have. The other day, he told me he won't even try to study in the capital. He says he won't be able to pass the exams. I find solace only in the nights Nathan and I spend together reading the scriptures and our walks to the church by the silver tree. He accompanies me every time. Your sister and younger brother write about Mother too, and they say the same thing about her health. She now spends more time locked away in her chambers to brood. Gloria does her best to accompany Mother when she leaves home, and Nathan's letters mention her steps echoing in the halls in the middle of the night. There's one more thing Nathan mentions in his letters. Stefan and Gloria have been fighting very often these days. Stefan always tries to get under Gloria's skin, and she answers him in kind. Then Stefan calls her a lowly commoner to make her shut up. You always tremble in excitement each time you see a new letter with the seal of your home province. Your fate is still bound tightly to your families, no matter the distance between you. Relations with Stefan are decreasing quite a bit. Not too bad, we're still up there though. Okay. Relations with Gloria are decreasing as well. Okay. And Nathan, well yeah, because we're not there. Gonna have to make a change if we can, see if we can get back home for a visit. Matters of faith. The months fly by now. Every day at the seminary is filled with study and work. You are being trained to live by your new lot. There can be no rest from service to the twins. You are well acquainted with your instructors now, and with each passing day you come closer to being their equal. Every month you and your class learn more about the sacred scriptures and the life and routine of the church and how to guide others to live by their lots. You learn about the founding of the church and the 3 councils at which the twins, first disciples, first established the dogmas of the faith. When the first council met, they pronounced that the twins' faith would be the only faith throughout the empire for all eternity, and that the Tempest dynasty would rule the land by their will, for they were chosen by the gods. The first council also condemned all magic within the empire other than the wonders sent down by the twins themselves. The Inquisition was created to enforce the order established by the twins and cleanse all heresy and sorcery from hearts, minds, and bodies. Mages and witches were offered 2 choices. They could either accept the collar and reject their powers, or perish in the ritual of purifying flame. When the second council met, the Holy Order was founded. It became the mighty sword wielded by the Church against its enemies. Nobles who sought to serve the twins with their arms formed the ranks of this order. When the third council met, the 2 books of Prophet Isaiah and the accounts of the twins' own lives deemed the sacred scriptures of the faith. It was then pronounced that no more councils would ever be convened, so that the foundations of the faith could never be warped. The main dogmas of the faith are the same for everyone. However, the seminary students prepare for the lot that lies ahead in different ways. Some of them study the scriptures, spending hours at the temple every day, attending every sermon, and mastering the art of preaching. Jeanne often appears among their ranks. These preachers ardently follow the age-old traditions and dogmas, doing everything just as it was done hundreds of years ago. Others, you call them supplicants, rarely attend sermons, but spend plenty of time in prayer rooms, in temples, and by the altars. You know these supplicants are seeking the twins within themselves and looking for them in the signs and revelations they experience. There are still others who are never seen during sermons or in prayer rooms. You only see them during lessons, and when a lesson is over, they cross the gate of the seminary and disappear into the city, often waking you up when they return in the small hours of the night. The secret society, you call these students who are clearly united by a shared mystery. There are only a handful of them. When they meet, they sit at the same table and speak in hushed whispers, falling silent if anyone tries to approach them. You have not joined any of these groups yourself. For now, you spend your days and nights in study. Today is yet another ordinary day at the seminary. You sit in the common room, reading a book, when Jeanne approaches you. Why are you always alone with your books? You should learn from your elders and attend sermons if you hope to walk the path of a priest. We can go to the next sermon together if you wish. You promise to consider her offer. As priests, you will be bound by the lot to the will of the twins, not the will of your instructors. Still, the will of the twins is a mystery, and their revelations are ever involute. Come to think of it, learning from senior priests and studying their habits might be the best way to understand your lot. Lost in thought, you look at the enigmatic handful of students sitting in the faraway corner of the hall. What mystery are they hiding? What path have they chosen to walk? You need to decide what to do next. One way or another, Jeanne is right. Your books will never do your preaching for you. Join the preachers. You begin attending sermons and learning how to preach. Search for the divine within yourself. You begin praying more often, calling out to the twins, striving to learn more about their wisdom and partaking of their will, love, and law. Infiltrate the secret society. You grow closer to the enigmatic group of seminary students, hoping to learn their secrets. Oh, I think I'm going to continue going down this path right here. I think I'm going to keep going down this path. Search for the divine within yourself. Matters of faith. The sun is setting. You head for a prayer room instead of the sermon. You kneel before the holy image of the older and the younger and begin to pray. You say all the words you wish to tell the twins, not quoting from the Holy Scriptures, but straight from the heart. You guide your mind and soul to reach the gods. You strive to sense the imperceptible connections that binds you to the addressee of your words. From that evening on, you start praying more often. Every day you guide your thoughts to the twins, and before you know it, every minute of your life becomes a living conversation with the gods. A love for the world and your cause, and every being fills your body and mind. The twins are indeed around us, and they fill you with their grace. During these moments, all questions disappear, and only answers remain. You see the founding principles of the world and the law that guides all life in the empire. You understand the ways of other lots and estates and realize their weaknesses and the guidance they require. You see how matters of honor can come to lead a noble away from the truth, and how perspicacity in one's labor and a desire for change can drive a commoner away from the twins' faith. The twins inspire you, and with every prayer, you immerse yourself more and more in their will and love and law. With every passing day, the divine presence within you grows ever stronger, while your mortal self grows ever weaker. How far are you prepared to take your service to them? Are you ready to allow the twins to consume you completely? Will you allow their will to supplant your own? Ooh, okay. We can't go any higher in willpower. Your remaining inner strength and readiness for action. It's prepared for anything. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, it's 11:37 and we're 19 years old. The Overseer of Megra. Two major events take place while you are busy living your life. Firstly, Cornelius Tempest is no longer the great chancellor of the empire. He has been ousted and sent back to his province. His replacement is the Archduke of Monia, Egerius Monrogue, the same Monrogue who sought to shut down the college. The most powerful lord in the realm finally convinced the emperor that his brother Cornelius was giving too much freedom to the lowborn. Now the policies of the empire will be reversed. Many fear that the new great chancellor will destroy the imperial code of laws and other achievements of Cornelius. There are cautious rumors among the people. They say the new great chancellor is going to revoke the right of the common lot to be ennobled by the mantle. Secondly, Megra, your homeland, now has a new overseer, Gaius Tempest, the other brother of Emperor Uther II. Usually the overseer of a province is its archduke. After all, it makes sense for the province's most powerful noble to impart the emperor's will to the locals. Yet now this age-old tradition has been broken, and, to no one's surprise, Archduke Tarquinius Milanitis is absolutely furious. Gaius Tempest used to be the main supporter of his brother, former Great Chancellor Cornelius Tempest. The nobles at the Emperor's court say this is a stratagem by the Arcanian gentry, who want Gaius removed from court affairs along with Cornelius. Either way, Gaius Tempest and Tarquinius Milanitis will be at each other's throats over the province. This does not bode well for their future. Only one thing is clear. Megra, your home province, is about to face great changes. Ooh, okay. So power's gone up 1 again. Order's rising quite a bit here. We're at peace. Okay. Ooh, a criminal relationship. This is interesting. Spring is in full bloom. The city of Eterna is a sea of flowering trees. The apple trees are particularly prevalent. You see them growing everywhere in the seminary yard alone. How nice it would be to sit here with a good book, enjoying the apple blossoms and getting lost in important thoughts. But there is no time for that. A recent incident has the entire seminary on edge. One of the senior seminary students has been accused of having a relationship with a witch. The Inquisition had been watching the girl for a long time. When the lovers met and the girl put a floral wreath on the student's head, the Inquisition spies saw it all. The lovers were immediately arrested. You hear about it from Jeanne. She looks very anxious when she comes to you to discuss the news. Jeanne: are you going to watch the trial? They're only allowing priests and seminary students to attend it. We have to be there. It's an important case. We could learn so much from seeing the Holy Tribunal in action. You agree to go with her. After all, the case is highly unusual indeed. Junius Diamant, one of the leaders of the New Faith, has stepped forth to defend the student and the girl. You have already met the other leader of the New Faith, Luke, Patriarch of Archnia. But Patriarch Junius holds much more authority. The seminary students speak of him in hushed voices and only when the instructors are not around. Junius Diamant is more than a patriarch of one of the provinces. He is an Arcanian hailing from one of the greatest dynasties and the leader of the Holy Order, the Empire's finest knights in service to the Twins' Church. The prosecution will be represented by Father Ulrich. He is a powerful inquisitor and the head warden at the House of Humility, the fortress that collars all mages and subdues their will to the service of the Inquisition. You have heard of him. He is a fierce man who is ardent and merciless in service to the Twins. The day comes. The spacious courtroom is filled with people. All the seats are taken. The judges sit at a long table upon a platform. There are 10 of them, all high-ranking members of the church. To the right of them is a man in a black cassock. His head is shaved, and his back is perfectly straight. This man, Father Ulrich, a true and lawful inquisitor, will represent the prosecution. To the left of the judges, table stands an Arcanian. He is wearing a white cassock with a cape of white and gold on his shoulders. The Arcanian's blue hands rest on the edge of the table, and his expression is that of perfect calm. This man, Patriarch Junius Diamant, will represent the defense. To the left of him sit the accused, a young man in a seminary uniform and a young girl who looks like she just came back from the foot of the pillar. They are both bound in chains. Even from your distant seat you can see that the inquisitors have shown her no mercy. The girl's face and neck are covered in bruises. There are bloody wounds on her left hand where her fingernails should be, and her right hand bears a horrible black burn. Loud voices emanate from the stalls even before the trial begins. Some chide Patriarch Junius, while others call out Father Ulrich. There are more and more of these shouts with every passing minute, and soon a judge's gavel can do very little to rein them in. The trial begins. Father Ulrich is the first to speak. Father Ulrich, judges of the Holy Tribunal, and you, my brethren. This is an act of sacrilege beyond compare, committed within the walls of our own seminary. This man is a venomous viper nurtured in the church's bosom. He defied all that is forbidden and engaged in an act of hideous lechery, already a malfaction. But, worse yet, the object of his lust is an abhorrent, sinful witch. The young woman in question looks up. You see the color of her eyes, vibrant, radiant emerald, green like the tender grass of spring. You recall a cautionary tale. Such eyes are the mark of a mage who holds sway over wildlife and nature. Father Ulrich, this blasphemer deserves nothing less than true death for what he had done. The walls of the church are no place for traitors and licentious filth. We who bring the will of the twins to the world may afford no weakness. As for the witch, put her in a collar and cut off her nose so that her comely appearance may never again lead a righteous man astray. With that, Father Ulrich takes his seat. The man who rises next is Patriarch Junius. He is tall as a pillar, and you feel an inexplicable power emanating from him. He takes his stand before the judges. Even before he speaks, Jeanne winces in disgust. To her, an ally of the new faith deserves neither tolerance nor sympathy. Jeanne, he's already drenched in sin, and yet he thinks he can talk justice. Junius Diamanth begins to speak. Patriarch Junius. May it please the tribunal, the accusation is indeed true. The young man before us is at fault. It was his duty to convince the lady he had befriended to renounce all magic, and yet he encouraged her profane practices. But Father Ulrich's proposal is far too severe. I seek no lesser punishment for the witch. This is a matter for the Inquisition, but the young man need not be executed. His life is the subject of my debate. It was not by force that the young man now stands before us. He sought the twins entirely of his own volition. And so I plead with the Holy Tribunal to spare his life. May he instead take the vows and habit of a monk, and a vow of silence, and be subject to corporal punishment. For the ways of the Church are stern, but fair. This young man need not lose his life in order to redeem himself. An accusation flies from the crowd, so Junius favors mages and takes them under his wing in his province. Look at the man who dares doubt our lots and reject the Orthodox faith. We won't let your kind gain ground in Eterna. This, in turn, sparks a different cry. Another voice accuses Ulrich of being drunk with the power he has acquired by enslaving those who wield magic. Patriarch Junius attempts to pacify his followers as accusations from the Inquisitor's side keep coming. Father Ulrich marks each condemnation of Junius and the new faith with an agreeable nod, his mouth a crooked smile. The crowd begins to move. Those who side with the Inquisition start pushing against the guards to exact their own brand of justice. Junius's followers do not stand still either. They rise and form a circle around the Patriarch, as well as the man and woman on trial. Accusations fly, and the air above the crowd grows hot with boiling rage. People are pushing and shoving. You hear screams of panic among the cries of outrage. You and Jian find a temporary refuge on a podium rising above the human sea. The courtroom is becoming dangerous. You must attempt to escape now, or risk being trampled. There is still time for either Patriarch Junius or Father Ulrich to say something, to calm the crowd, remind them why they are here. But they both froze in confusion, unable to rein in the coalescing madness. Perhaps you could make your voice heard from atop the crowd, or would it be more sensible to escape the chaos of this courtroom? Oh, we can't even do this because we do not have enough theology. We need 12. We're at 10 and we do not have enough eloquence. Yeah, we only have 4. We have to work on that. We need 12, so we have to flee the courtroom. So you take Jian by the hand and start pushing and shoving through the crowd to escape the courtroom. You take Jian by the hand and leave the courtroom before the conflict reaches its culmination. You push and shove through screaming inquisitors, frenzied seminary students, and red-faced followers of the new faith. As you leave, the hall behind you erupts into screams of rage and pain and fighting. You ask Jian if she wants to stay here and see the end of the trial. No, I've seen enough. This is too much like what happened to Alice. I don't want to see what happens next. Let's get out of here at once. You make your way back to the seminary courtyard, where the apple trees are in bloom. There are so many white flowers, you can barely see the leaves behind them. After the din of the courtroom, the quiet here is deafening. So quiet you can almost hear your own heartbeat. Jeanne looks up with a quiet sigh and touches the white petals. Jeanne, it feels so strange. It's like we're back in Anazat, beneath the branches of the silver tree. I wish I could feel that calm again. Don't you agree? Carefully, Jeanne's hand touches yours and squeezes your fingers gingerly. Then, suddenly, she embraces you. You gasp with surprise and place your hands on her waist. Is this a chaste hug? Or perhaps... Her breath feels hot on your neck. Her eyelashes flutter against your skin as her arms glide up and down your back. You are not yet priests. You are not yet one with the clergy. You are not yet bound by the new lot. And for now, anything is possible. She smells so good. A lock of hair tumbles out from under her headcloth. You gently touch this lock with your lips. Hours, minutes, maybe seconds pass like this. Then, suddenly, Jeanne moves away and looks at you defiantly, biting her lower lip. You smile in return. She will embrace you once more. Will she not? She steps back. You part ways. Jeanne heads for the prayer room. You walk back to your monastic cell. Still, you look back once more before you leave. Jeanne is there, watching you go. When she catches your eye, she looks away and leaves. Okay. It's getting very interesting, isn't it, with Jeanne? We're 19 years old. Which direction are we going to go? Willpower, yeah, sure. Okay. And with that, we have the second sacrament, which we will save for the next episode, the life and suffering of Sir Brante. We're in year 1137, chapter 3. I hope you're enjoying the story as much as I am. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon.